So we move on to the Sunday slate. Less games, of course. We start off with a bit of a downgrade from Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Cardinals at the Buccaneers. The Bucks are favored by 2.5. I must admit, I don't know if Baker is good to go in this game.
I don't think he is from the reaction of Bucks fans that I'm seeing on the internet crying and asking for refunds on their MVP bets.
So it could be Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this game? This is one I will not be watching.
Yeah.
Well, I won't be focusing on it. Let's put it that way.
Well, it's becoming kind of real now for the Bucks. I mean, they were losing games and okay, but they're still in the NFC South. And that's the fact they're still in the NFC South, so they still might get away with it. But it's just a real shame for the Bucks. I really like this team coming into season, as you know. I was Baker was my preseason MVP pick, and that's completely gone to pieces. Not and
Too
ba
many injuries.
Yeah, and Baker has made mistakes, but he's had to compensate for a lot of stuff going on around him. No receivers, and he did it for a period of time. My man Tez Johnson was stepping up, and everybody seems to be stepping up. But there comes a point when you know you're eventually your kind of luck runs out, and even Baker, much as he loves to compete, can't do everything.
I think it's caught up with Ibuka and Tez Johnson. Like before, their role was, well, we're with Mike Evans and we're with Chris Godwin.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm on the third like DB. And when they were asked to step up, initially they were able to do it, but it's like that rookie wall. Like suddenly they've hit it, and the offense has kind of fallen flat.
yeah, and their defense seems to give up big plays as well. The Tampa defense.
Yeah.
So, but I really don't like the Cardinals.
Mm.
So I'm going to pick Tampa to just find a way. I don't, and I've kind of given up with Tampa in the injury report because Bucky Irvin's been on it for forever. He's supposed to be coming back, and then he's coming back, and I just
Mm.
who's available for the Bucks these days, including Baker this week. But
Mm.
they might get away with it because the Panthers have the Rams this week, and the
Mm.
Panthers just are completely up and down. So this could be the division where it's like a team wins with 8 games, 9 games, and hosts a place.
Yes.
I think that the Bucks can beat the Cardinals at less than full health because I don't like the Cardinals. Trevor Lawrence did everything he could to hand them the game last week, and they still couldn't take it. So yeah, I think Arizona's in the middle of a complete rebuild upcoming with the Kyler Murray. It's not Jacoby Brissett. Is it the head coach? The rest of this roster. So I don't like the Cardinals, especially after watching Trevor Lawrence and him having not one, but I think it was three disastrous plays last week, and they still couldn't take advantage at home and win the game. So I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Bucks to win and cover. It's 2.5. It's 2.5 as a result of the Bucks injuries and their recent performances, but this is the Cardinals. So by default, I take Tampa.
Mm. I'm gonna have to make an asterisk pick here. If Baker plays, I'm taking the Bucks. If it's Teddy Bridgewater though, I say the Cardinals will upset the Bucks because Teddy Bridgewater has been out of the game for how long? Like he was coaching a high school team, and suddenly now he's come back to be a backup. I know the Cardinals are bad, but him playing for a full game, that wasn't a game against the Rams. The game was done. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to say this week. If it's Baker Mayfield, he will them to a win. If it's not, I say upset.
Wait, he was not coaching high school and then pulled out to be the backup. He was the backup on the roster before. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Like he spent some
It was
years.
not like they picked up the phone and was like, Teddy, we don't have a backup. And he suddenly ditched his high school team.
Well, it's funny you say that. I think it kind of went that way last year. So he was coaching them, and then the Lions were like, "We want you to be the backup," and he basically became the backup.
Yeah.
I don't know if the high school year had finished, maybe it had, but suddenly he then became the backup. Because if you remember in the NFC divisional, Goff throws the pick six and gets absolutely leveled on the return. Teddy Bridgewater comes in for a couple of plays. So yeah, not quite not quite we need you now, but he's not played for a long time, and I just wonder how that will look for a whole game. Right, next up, it doesn't get much better. We have got, and I just want to make sure I get this right, the Atlanta Falcons at the Jets. The spread is 2.5 in favor of the Falcons. The Falcons beat the Saints last week. That was a bit of a letdown for me on the Saints. I only had two picks wrong last week, and one of them was the Saints, who I was banking on to have a kind of energy divisional home game. The Falcons, Cousins made a few, like Cousins looked like his throws had a bit more velocity this time, other than unlike earlier in the year. The Jets, the Jets, the Jets got that little bump from Tyrod Taylor, and they actually hung in that game a lot longer than I thought they were going to be in it. So again, this is kind of roll the dice football. I don't know who to pick because I don't know who the Falcons are. Like, are they going to be the team that,
Oh, like
like the Jets are in the mode where they can upset, but and they're pretty good at stopping the run. If you look at who they've faced in recent weeks, King Henry kept, limited. Stevenson, okay, they gave up 3 touchdowns, but limited overall. Can they limit Bijan? That's a big question. And this stupid MetLife turf. Hope it doesn't take another victim. I'm going to take the Jets.
wow.
I just, you know, I want the easy thing would be to say Bijan goes off, but the Jets have shown me that they can stop the run or at least limit it.
Yeah.
So it's a risk, but I say that they limit Bijan and they find themselves in a kind of ugly one-score win, probably field goal to do it.
It does nothing for them, only
That hurts them. It actually hurts them,
yeah.
and but they're still fighting for their head coach, it seems, and they've got Cousins who can't move to rush. So I think it's going to be one of those games. Jets win.
Yeah. I'm just going to go with the roster. I'm just going to go with Atlanta. Not a great deal of thought goes into this matchup other than I do not like the Jets. I think they hung around against the Ravens because the Ravens let them hang around. I Atlanta has a far better roster, and like you, I made a big mistake in picking the Saints to beat the Falcons because I watched the Falcons fall apart after the Jonathan Taylor game in Germany against the Panthers as well, where they were abysmal.
Mm.
But when you don't have an offense to take advantage of that, aka the Saints and probably upcoming the Jets, then you can't score enough points. And eventually, Atlanta, with the players that they have, will probably end up scoring more points than you against a terrible team. So, with that logic, I'm going to take the Falcons.
You bring up a good point. For the Falcons, it should be stop Brees Hall and you'll win this game.
Well, the Falcons is just don't be too Falcons and you'll be fine. Like, just, yeah, just play base defense and tackle people in the open field and don't have blown coverages. And yeah, like you said, don't let Brees Hall run for 150 and you'll be fine. You'll be totally fine because the Jets can't hurt the Falcons enough. It's just the Falcons could hurt themselves enough to lose this game.
Mm. Okay. What an interesting game next up. The Houston Texans at the Colts. The spread is 4.5. This division is not quite over. I think the Colts they've got a 2-game lead on the Texans and only a 1-game lead on the Jaguars. And they play both teams twice, I believe. And I'm super impressed with the Texans defense. Like there's always one defense that like just catches me. And this defense have done it to me this year. I mean, the safety Bullock, what a night. What a night he had. 2 interceptions, forced the fumble on the speedster. I can't remember his name right now, but the speedster Bills receiver, Shakir. And the defense made a lot of plays. Now, they gave up one big one on the 4th and 27, where I don't know who was on the right side in the deep zone, but he got seduced by the initial receiver and he sort of like followed him. The receiver then hands it off to the other guy. Oh, like, fuck, I have fucked up here. And I was thinking, damn it, like, I've picked the Texans to win this game and they've just gone and blown it. But then they made more plays. They sacked Allen 8 times. That's the most in a single game for him. So, yeah, I've got nothing but great things to say about this defense. They got the 2 rushers in Danielle Hunter and Anderson. And then, well, it looks like now their safety's playing great along with the corners, Stingley and Lassiter. CJ Stroud could be back this week. And when I look at this team and how wide open the AFC is, if CJ Stroud can somehow regain, the level or somewhere near the rookie level, this team actually could make noise, like serious noise. But that's a big question. I don't feel like Davis Mills has been under the amount of pressure that CJ Stroud has been under. So that's interesting because, okay, while Davis Mills is missing some routine throws and he's not making spectacular plays, he's been productive enough and complementary of the defense. Now, the Colts, this is a tough ask because, as always, can you stop Jonathan Taylor? It's what I said last week. The Chiefs, you need to limit him way under 100 and you can win this game. Well, they just managed it. Can the Texans do the same? I say they can limit Jonathan Taylor because I like this defense. Jonathan Taylor is amazing, but he's going up against an amazing defense this week. I've done it a few times this year, and they've proven me right. I'm taking the Texans to win the game on the basis that they limit Jonathan Taylor and they ask Daniel Jones, "You've got to beat us through the air." And we saw last week against the Chiefs in the fourth quarter and overtime, they had 4 drives and they went three and out in all 4 drives. Texans win this game and make this division even more interesting than it already is.
Wow. I was banking that you were going to take the Colts. You were going to talk up the Texans. That was my thought coming into it. You're going to talk up the Texans and the defense and then say, but I'm just going to go with the Colts.
I'm a believer.
Yeah, because I'm going to do the same. I'm going to take the Texans because this defense, they don't even need to blitz. They don't blitz. And they do what they just did to the Bills. And it's everywhere. Like you said, now the safeties turned up. They got the corners, they got the pass rush, they got everything. They got everything right there. And the Colts have, in amongst that, their recent kind of the coming back to earth. Yeah, they smacked the shit out of the Titans. Okay, so what? But this has been coming for a little while. We've seen it. They got away with. I saw it. Like watch that game start to finish. They got away with it against the Falcons through Jonathan Taylor. When it's not Jonathan Taylor, when it's right, it's Daniel Jones and these receivers. It's a lot more difficult to win a football game. I mean, that's obvious, but yeah, I think the Texans have got enough to restrict Jonathan Taylor and therefore win this game because they've been involved in some difficult games lately, the Texans, and they've come out with the wins. So, and they have to have it. They have to have it. 2 games out from the Colts. They have to win this week. And this would be a huge statement if they go in there and win. And then the Colts would be shitting it atop the division with a loss on the schedule to the Texans and their quarterback coming back. It's a huge game for the Colts. But I think I've seen enough from the Colts over the last kind of few weeks to say, okay, right, you win this division, yeah, but play like a real high-flying team in the playoffs and let's see if you can do it. So, yeah, but this week I'm just going to lean towards the Texans and the defense, and they're well coached enough to know restrict Taylor, you restrict the Colts, put the game in Daniel Jones's hands. And I think he's kind of got away with it this year. Like, oh, okay, yeah, he's the quarterback of this team. And look at, yeah, okay. But when the games have got real lately and he's played against some real defenses, you know, and
He
that,
got away with a pick against the Chiefs, where the two, I can't remember who it was on the Chiefs, but he threw such a bad pick that they both ran into each other. They were both in the area and they ran into each other and neither of them made the play. It was on a plate.
yeah, I'm going to take the Texans. I love this defense and I think they're going to, yeah, I just love watching elite defenses and this really is a really good unit.
Oh, yeah. Interestingly enough, there is another divisional in this division this week. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Titans. The Jaguars are favored by 6.5. You discussed Trevor Lawrence earlier, Paul. Why don't you continue?
Yeah, the this game, like Cam Ward actually played quite a good game last week against the Seahawks, and he's going through some struggles, which the nation probably won't know about because yeah, they're the Titans and they suck, but and so people aren't watching their games. But against a really good defense in Seattle, he kind of and he ran the ball as well. He ran in for a
Mm.
touchdown and he was scrambling, and it says a lot about a kid, a rookie, going into like a terrible situation like that. Terrible play calling, no kind of receiver talent that's top end at least. Not really a running game. Hardly an offensive line to help him stand up. And he hangs around with the Seahawks. Yeah, the Seahawks were kind of done and they're already on the flight home, but it's still a professional NFL defense. So I think the Titans can cover this week, but they just don't have enough. Like the Jags just have way more talent than the Titans. But you just hope this isn't a Jacksonville kind of a game where they drop it and it's like, what the hell happened there to the Titans? What? And that's why you missed the playoffs because you dropped that game to the Titans. What the hell happened? And that's in the Jacks. That's
It's happened before in
Jack.
this exact game
They
at
are
Titans.
for sure of that scenario happening. And they tried to do it. They tried their very best to do it last week against the Cardinals. But the Cardinals weren't good enough to seize the opportunity. And I don't think the Titans are good enough to seize the opportunity. But I beating a small little crumb of comfort for the Titans is Cam Ward played. You might have something there with Cam Ward. And just build around him. Get him an offensive line and just get him at least above mid receivers on the outside. But first of all, get him an offensive line.
Yeah, because I mean, he can throw lasers. Like he's in a really, really awful situation. And if he was in a better situation, it would look. I now think it would look pretty good. Like when we were looking at him in the lead up to the draft, I was underwhelmed. I'm more. I'm not saying like this is a superstar, but I'm just saying like I'm definitely more encouraged from what I see from him and the tools that he's got. Like I'd rather have him than say a Bryce Young, for example.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of struggle in the situation. The Jaguars. I text you during the first quarter, and Trevor Lawrence had basically fumbled near his goal line, and it was returned for a touchdown. And I said, "Oh, like Trevor Lawrence has got his dumb play out the way for today." And he said, "Hold my beer, I'm not finished." And I don't know what to say about him. Like he's not going to be the answer for this team. He kind of is the anchor, and it took for them to be behind for him to like finally lock in and put together a pretty good drive. But this is who he is at this point now. He is Mr. Inconsistent. He is, I'm going to make a dumb play. Like, you can't trust me. But surely they do not do it again this week against the Titans. They do not have a good record here. And uh, this is the place where Derrick Henry put Saxonville in the coffin with that 99-yard run and about 7 stiff arms along the way. But I'll take the Jaguars simply because of the talent level. Like you said, the talent level is so far apart that the Jaguars, even if they sort of played a C minus game, they probably win fairly comfortably. It is a divisional, so you always got to be careful with these. But I would just say to everyone watching, if you are thinking about betting the Jaguars, the spread is 6.5. Scrap that. If you are thinking about putting the Jaguars on as a money line, just put your money in a fire because you are playing with fire. Do not do it. Do not do it ever again this season. Do not bet on the Jaguars. I promise you, you will regret it. But Jaguars win and Titans cover, I say. No, you know what? No, I can't do it. Jaguars win, Jaguars cover, but do not part with your money on it. Next up, Rams at the Panthers. I watched the game in detail on Monday night, of course. The Panthers had 3 interceptions in the first half and found themselves trailing at halftime. I don't know what to say really because the corners, like one of the interceptions, I think it was your man Horn. He was on the far side of the play, and the moment that he had diagnosed it wasn't a run, he just sprinted across field and made the interception. And I was like, okay, this guy's pretty good, as Paul has been saying. But offensively, it's all through the running backs. Dowdle, your man Dowdle's amazing. Hubbard can still play. But the quarterback situation is the issue. The pick that Bryce Young threw, you can't do that. After Brock Purdy's just handed you one, and you do that. They couldn't get McMillan going early enough. He had a touchdown when they were down, what, 20 to 3? I think, or 17-3. And then this whole, like, the 49ers have a penalty. So because the ball gets moved from the 2 yard line to the 1 yard line, we're now going to go for it, even though our offense sucks.
Yeah.
If you had just run it up the middle with Dowdle or Hubbard, I could live with that. I'd say, okay, fair enough. But you're throwing it. I don't think that's a good decision.
It's analytics, though. It's
analytics, yeah.
Just because it's now half the distance.
Wow. I mean, if you're the Eagles, yeah, do it. You've got an unstoppable 1 yard play. But you're the Panthers, and if you're going to do it, I would like to think it's going to go in the hands of Dowdle or Hubbard. So I think that was mismanagement. Quite simply, the Rams win this game. How many points will they put up? I think even though the corners are good for the Panthers, I think this defense can be got at. And they're playing, I would say, the MVP front runner right now in Stafford, who has 30 touchdowns to 2 interceptions and 7 more than anyone in the league. He is lighting it up. Rams win. Panthers lose. The only thing is it's a 10 a.m. body clock game, and the Panthers have had some superpower at home. The Rams, they might play with their food a bit. They did it against the Titans, but they're too good. And it's as you said last week on Bryce Young, be careful with your future. Do not, mortgage it on this guy, I'm afraid. Rams win. And I will say that the Rams cover the 10.5.
Yeah, the Panthers, right? They're just when you look at the Panthers and their win-loss, and then you correlate it with Bryce Young's stat line, it's insane. His stat line is so streaky. But you can't win like that. You can't win long term like that. You can have a game like the previous week against the Falcons. You can have that one, but it seems like it's like 1 out of every 4.
He's 4-1 against the Falcons and like 8-25 against everyone else.
Well, it's lucky they play the Falcons twice a year. But yeah, the Panthers need to run the ball, and that's how they've had success. And the defense is not terrible, but it's not elite. Yeah, like you said, I like the corners on the Panthers. Um, but yeah, this is a Rams. This is a different game altogether. And the Rams, possibly the best team in the NFL at the moment. Obviously, it's November, it's Thanksgiving, but like right now, as of right now, except that loss in Philadelphia, like tell me how the Rams have not done everything that's been asked of them so far. Yeah,
Yeah,
they had that overtime game against your Niners where,
it's the Niners though.
yeah,
They'll be fine if they don't have to face the Niners in the playoffs.
but they lost the game going for the win. They were still going for the win,
Yeah.
and that game was like right there. So yeah, we'll
Mm.
see. We'll see with the Rams. They're way way better than the Panthers. And the
Mm.
Panthers, like I really don't think we're going to see a moment where a quarterback the size of Bryce Young gets drafted that high again. I mean, thinking back on it, that was fucking insane. Like he's what 5'9", 180, 5'9", 180, 180. He's 185. He's listed at 185. He doesn't even look 185. And obviously
Thank
he's a
you.
grown man sport, but he looks small, and in moments he plays small, and you can see it from his stat line. It's very, very streaky.
There was another option out there in that draft as well. That's the killer. I know he's struggling right now, but yeah, I think you'd much rather have him right now.
Yeah, and a bigger human as well, with a bigger right arm and more mobility.
Mm.
Well, yeah, Stroud can still run it, but Stroud has his own issues. But yeah, the upside with CJ Stroud is clear to see. That's not even a question between him and Bryce Young. But for this game, I mean, yeah, it's just how serious the Rams take it. I think they will, and for that reason, I'm going to take them to win and cover.
Next up, Saints at the Dolphins. The Dolphins favored by 5.5. What say you on this one, Paul?
I watched the Saints. I bet the Saints against the Falcons, but as I was saying to you, it was not me betting the Saints. I was trying to like make myself feel better. I wasn't betting the Saints. I was betting against. I was fading the Falcons, and then
Aiden
that
Falcons.
game started. I was like, this team suck. The Saints are. When you're watching the Falcons defense, who I absolutely hate, have all that success. And then you're reminded that like you've actually got money riding on Tyler Shuck at quarterback, and Alvin Kamara can't do it all. And they're rolling out good old Taysom Hill and these gadget plays, and it just don't work anymore.
Mm-mm.
And the Falcons have major, major issues. We've discussed them, but they're not the Saints. The Saints, there was a reason why this team were among the betting favorites to have the first overall pick. And when you watch them from start to finish in the game, you're like, yeah, that was why. They suck. They're not good. The Dolphins, and the game's in Miami.
Yeah,
The Dolphins have a bye last week.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Dolphins off a bye. Yeah,
So the last time they played was when they kicked the shit out of the Bills.
yeah. I don't love the Dolphins, but I really, really do not like the Saints. So with that screwed up logic, I'm going to take the Dolphins to win and cover.
Yep, so am I. I mean, I think the Dolphins have turned a little bit of a corner. They have too much for this Saints team. and they couldn't do it against the Falcons at home in the dome. They won't be able to do it in Miami against, a team coming off their bye and are a bit reinvigorated. Right, next up, this is the game that I will obviously be focusing on in the early window. It is my San Francisco 49ers going into Cleveland, Ohio to face these Browns. Myles Garrett is going to break this record, I think. He got 3 more sacks, as I thought he would, against the Raiders. Just to start off with the Niners, I don't know if we spoke about this, but Brandon Ayuk managed to get his contract voided in July, and we only found out about it last week,
Yeah,
basically.
I heard the headline. What the fuck is going on with that? I haven't
Well,
thought
he
story.
so he apparently he wasn't turning up to meetings or being responsive, so it reached a point where the Niners basically said you're being detrimental to the team, so we're voiding your guarantees, and he's not fighting it. So that clearly tells me he's got one thing on his mind, and it's reuniting with Jaden Daniels. So I say you've done us a favor, Ayuk, by getting your guarantees voided. So that's fine. I can live with that. But
Guaranteed money because this is crazy.
yeah, he still wins because he still got 40 odd million at signing for 7 games. So that's great for him. But it does really help us moving forward. We still will have some dead cap, but it will be far better than it would have been if he hadn't voided these guarantees. So that's a win for us. But they're still saying that he could come back in the team. And this is where Shanahan and Lynch get taken advantage of, I think, because they are high character individuals. And whatever's gone on in the summer with Ayuk, they're still willing to leave the door open for him to come back.
There's way more to come in this story.
Yeah, I say leave it at that. Leave it at that. Ayuk has made his decision. He's always in contact with Jaden Daniels. That's who he wants to play with. We will find a trade deal. It won't be very much.
It's
He is under contract.
$20, I heard.
Yeah,
He's
this year.
he's sacrificing what human sacrifices $25 million?
Yeah, simply because he wouldn't turn up to meetings and just do the right things that were stipulated in his contract. And the fact that he's not fighting it tells me that he's just done with the Niners. Like he's decided, I'm done with the Niners. Forgetting the fact that we tried our best to find him a trade partner. Guess what? He turned down the chance to be with Drake May last summer.
There is a slight conspiracy that I heard with this, where you know that his agent is the same agent as Lynch, your general manager.
Really? Wow.
So
Wow.
me like thinking in a conspiracy kind of way, that's possibly the worst contract that I can remember the 49ers ever signing with a veteran player. Okay, take out draft picks, take out, your Trey Lances and Solomon Thomases of this world. A veteran player, because it was like, I was interested in this because there was rumors that Ayuk was going to come to maybe the Steelers, and then he had the thing with the Browns. Was it the Browns or the Patriots?
The Browns first, and then the Patriots. He turned them both down.
Yeah, made it abundantly clear that he did not want to go to either of those places. But the Commanders didn't make a strong enough offer.
Maybe. And they ended up with Debo.
But because the Commanders were in this fight, I remember they were in the conversation. Maybe just because of, like you said, the connection with Jaden Daniels, but there was talk of Ayuk to the Commanders, but it wasn't as strong as the Browns or the Steelers. And then you find out he's got the same agent as your general manager. And he signed this
Mm.
contract and he's pretty much cashed the money up front. And then he said, no, I'm done with you guys. And then he's had this injury. I don't know. I don't know. I think there's more to come with this.
Yeah.
But if
But
you're the 49ers organization and then like you find out, say they find out that Lynch was somehow he was not involved, but he was complicit in this, in giving Ayuk this terrible contract. I don't know. I'm just throwing like theories out.
okay. Yeah.
They agent as Ayuk, and then he signs this terrible contract, and then he doesn't want to. And we only find this out now.
We only find this out now. Like it happened in July. His contract was now it makes more sense as to now it doesn't make sense because in pre-season he was running routes before a game when he shouldn't have been. So
If
I don't know
someone's
what's going to happen.
aware of like the how you don't get yourself sacked or released from the team, it would be the general manager, would it not? I don't
Yeah,
know. Who shares your agent? I don't know. I'm just throwing theories out there.
yeah, yeah. But in terms of moving forward, that does really help because it
Yeah.
does give us a like we were going to have to pay a decent amount on the back end of this contract, and now we don't, which is great. It was friendly the first couple of years, and then it really ramped up. So on that side of things, I'm glad that there is at least some clarity. As you said, we're probably going to learn more about this. But when you look at this game, Brock Purdy cannot have the first half that he had on Monday against this
You
defense.
know the first thing I do when it's like a Cleveland game in winter.
Mhm. What's the weather?
So the weather for your West Coast, for your California based San Francisco 49ers, it's 4 degrees, snow showers,
Wow.
20-mile-an-hour winds gusting to 35. So it's cold, not really kind of kicking weather, not great throwing weather.
That's the problem if you don't have a strong arm. You know, 30 mile per hour winds and you got Josh Allen, that's fine. You just laser it everywhere. But
Yeah.
Purdy doesn't have a strong arm. And I did do a deep dive on this game on Monday against the Panthers. And I was curious just really with the run game. We Shanahan's literally pulling out all the stops, all the stops, all the motions into blocks with Juszczyk and Kittle. It's not. It's just not enough. It's not enough. We're still averaging 3.5 yards per carry. We're not having explosive runs, and quite simply, in this off season, we have to prioritize offensive line because we're not really. I say we're getting by. We're not really getting by in the run game. You know, you've got Trent, you've got Kittle, you've got Juszczyk, and then the rest of that line, it's Strugglesville. And now you're going into Cleveland. They're going to shut down this run game, and it's like, can you get the receiving game going with McCaffrey? Maybe a little bit. But as you said, the conditions are a factor. 10 a.m. body clock game is a factor. Myles Garrett is going to be a huge factor. It's not often that Trent Williams goes into a week where you're like, oh, he's got his hands full this week. We've seen in the past Myles Garrett absolutely manhandle Trent. So I think the 49ers are really going to struggle on offense. And it's funny because, you know, this is almost like a Mac Jones kind of week. Like you kind of want him out there to be efficient and over careful. Purdy can't make the mistakes he made last week. Like for two of the picks, they were his fault. The one in the end zone, he has 20 yards of space in front of him. He's easily getting the first down, but he's looking to justify his contract and make a splash because Mac Jones has been so efficient. Don't do that. On the other side of the ball, Shador Sanders, that's not ideal for my Niners. I would have much rather faced the known entity of Dylan Gabriel. Shador is an unknown entity based on what 1.5 games. We don't really. What can you garner off of that? Their offense isn't great, so that does help. But the 49ers defense isn't that great either. What I am encouraged by is the fact that Bryce Huff is back. He wasn't a factor on Monday night in the first game, but that's fine. I think that as the weeks go by, you're going to start seeing him make an impact again. And Clelin Ferrell has made an impact. So this Niners rush, while it's not anywhere near elite or good, it might produce enough some of the time. I'm picking the upset, I'm afraid. I hate to say it, but I just don't think the Niners are going to get any offense going. And it feels like Purdy will make a few mistakes in the game. The fact that the D line of the Browns is going up against this just poor offensive line, I expect McCaffrey to be shut down on the ground. It's whether or not he can get going in the receiving game. And I still say that's not enough. Unfortunately, I say Browns win.
Wow. Okay. I was also thinking to pick the Browns, but then I thought, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like 49ers win these games against bad teams and forget the Browns beating the Raiders. The Raiders are a completely different level altogether. Like that defense and just the whole Raiders organization, bar sorry, Max Crosby, take him out of it. Apart from that, like, and potentially Genty in the future, like, yeah. So I don't take anything from Shador Sanders
No.
the day against the Raiders. And I just think the 49ers have a few different ways. So, yeah, Purdy can be efficient if he just. And they've got Shanahan. They've got Shanahan who's going to adjust in game to what the weather, the Browns defense is doing. Is it a Kittle game? Is it a McCaffrey game? Is it just do not make critical mistakes kind of a game? I am worried because I've seen this team lose in Cleveland before, a better version of the 49ers, but then the Browns were better as well. So I'm going to just say that the 49ers, just based on the head coach, just win. Just find a way to win. Don't give the Browns any credit at all for last week. And if any head coach can adjust to the Myles Garrett factor, he's going to take the snap and have to roll out immediately away from Garrett's side. and or run at him, run at Garrett behind where he's rushing from. He'll do something. It's Kyle Shanahan. I mean, so, but yeah, it's a scary game in the weather, early window for the 49ers. But I think they'll find a way. I say they win, and yeah, I say they win and cover 5. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And just to end, I don't really get what's going on with Shador and the Browns. Like they don't want him. I'm guessing. Like,
well, he's their starting quarterback. Of course, they want him. They love it.
He's their starting quarterback. I know it's the Raiders. They win the game, but it's like after the game, Stefanski, you can't give a game ball to your rookie who's won his first start. Like there's some, I don't know. To me, there's something odd going on there's been something going weird with Shador the whole time. No reps with the first team ever until he's playing in the game. Like almost like we want you to fail, but
Well,
well,
Stefanski's like, if we believe the rumors, didn't want him, and that was ahead. That was the owner's draft pick.
yeah,
Stefan
it's clear now.
Dylan Gabriel guy,
Mm,
and maybe you can see that through Stefanski's actions the last couple of weeks when he was asked in the pre-game conference for the Raiders, like, is that right that Shador's not taken any first team reps? He didn't elaborate. He just went, "Yep,
and I
okay,
remember when they drafted Shador, Stefanski and Andrew Berry were just like,
yeah."
so
And Stefanski's got his own problems. I mean, he's possibly a dead man walking, so
yeah.
he's
Uh,
he's not got any loyalty to this organization now. He's like, right, just pay up my contract. I'm out of here.
yeah. Right, moving on to the 9 o'clock window. This will be an interesting one. The Vikings are going into Seattle, and JJ McCarthy's in concussion protocol. The spread is 11.5. What do you make of this?
It's a bad moment for the Vikings. You know, all the talk with JJ McCarthy, he can't play, and all of this stuff, and now you've got to go to see your former quarterback who's not struggling. I think it's a bad time to be a Vikings fan.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it seems a bit weird. And now McCarthy's got a concussion, but they can't say when he sustained the injury on what play.
Mm.
But I don't know. Something a bit weird is going on there in Minnesota. And they're going to hand it over to the undrafted rookie who, I mean, an undrafted rookie, you're going to bench the, well, he's top 10, wasn't he? McCarthy, I believe he was like ninth or 10th pick in the draft. So a top 10 quarterback. So Minnesota's just a bit weird.
Mm.
Um, how the NFL just turns from last year to this year, just based on, it seemed like almost one position, one player. But they're not perfect. I mean, so you're putting a lot of pressure then on the defense, and it just all kind of falls apart if you haven't got quarterback play.
Mhm.
They're not being that effective running the ball. I've said for weeks they should just be running the ball like 40 times a game, but that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all falling apart for the Vikings. And on the flip side, the Seahawks are just really, really, really good. Yeah, they took their foot off the gas a little bit against the Titans, but they're just a really good team. I was surprised. The spread this week was 9. It's now 11.5.
Mm.
But has anyone seen JJ McCarthy play lately? It's not. And then what? I'll take 11.5 with an undrafted rookie who, and an undrafted rookie who in his last year went to the University of Minnesota. So it's not like, it's not, it's not a top tier school. So he wouldn't have been playing against anything remotely close to this on
Mm.
the road in Seattle, 12th man, against this defense and that speed. No.
Imagine if he actually plays pretty well. That will look even worse for McCarthy.
Yeah, but the Vikings have got themselves into this. So the only way to get themselves out of it is to just, if it's a phony concussion, then what are you doing? What are you doing? You have to just play him.
Yeah.
So unless you've literally struck gold on an undrafted rookie lottery ticket, then he is not going to be any better than JJ McCarthy. So you play JJ McCarthy if it is phony. I'm just I'm just speculating as to what's going on there. But
He finished the game, right?
uh,
He finished the game, right?
yeah, yeah. The concussion came out after the end of the game, and that's what I
Mm.
mean. It's weird because they couldn't specify when the injury was sustained. It's all
The only time I've ever seen this is Purdy in Minnesota, but they were able to identify and say it was on the quarterback sneak that he like had the hit to the head, and then he felt it later on.
mm,
But if they can't even pinpoint the play, that
yeah.
seems odd.
Kevin O'Connell, like I'm hearing that Kevin O'Connell really liked JJ McCarthy coming out. Okay,
Mm.
well then you got him. Work with him. You're not even completed one full season with him playing. Like he didn't play.
Yeah,
So
you got a serious question like in the off season though, whether you're going to run this back. I wouldn't run it back honestly. Like it's what you said. Like he's come from a specific type of offense that didn't ask him to do a lot.
yeah,
And this offense is way more elaborate than that. So I'm not saying cut him or whatever, but he probably needs to sit for a while behind someone that, you know, is more experienced. Because we've seen it with like Darnold and Baker Mayfield, who, okay, they were in bad situations and they didn't look this bad, and he's in a good situation and he looks bad. But they got that lift when Baker Mayfield went to the Rams and, he was, basically learning from McVay. And Darnold always talks about how, you know, Purdy's such a professional and just learning from behind someone. I feel like McCarthy is going to need to do that in order to grow. Like, I don't know if, for the rest of this year, yeah, play him. Like, what else are you going to do? What, play this undrafted rookie? No, keep playing him. You never know if it's going to turn or not. If it doesn't, I think they've got to find someone else for next year because it's a mismatch of it's what I was saying earlier in the year. Your offense has shown that it's ready to compete. You're not in a mode where we're building for the future. No, it's now. The offense is now. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Hawkinson. That's now. We don't have time for, like the 49ers with Trey Lance. We don't have time for you to go through your struggles.
it's crazy. Like this time last year, but rewind last year, the Vikings they're going for the number one seed,
Wow.
and, and you had yeah, and it's not going to help Vikings fans to just talk over it, but now you're in it, so make the best of it, and the
Yeah.
best thing is that obviously to play him. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's JJ McCarthy. I don't care if it's this Brosnar. I don't even know his name. Like the undrafted rookie. I just saw undrafted rookie, University of Minnesota. Like I'm sorry, that's all I need to know. Seattle, 12th man. I've seen this defense. I've seen how quick it is. Nah, don't want any part of the Vikings in this game at all. It would only be Seattle and being complacent. I don't think at home they will be that. I think they're kind of similar to the Cardinals game. That was crazy. I think they'll just go for the jugular early and they'll just overwhelm whoever plays for the Vikings at quarterback. And 11 and a half, I don't care. I don't think it's enough. I think Seattle's going to absolutely kill them.
Yeah. This, if you remember last year, was the game that you know
Yeah, yeah,
the coral bet.
yeah.
Not going to happen this time.
Not good times to be a Vikings fan this week. Oh my goodness, yeah. This was the game.
It felt like last week that Seattle could have done what I said, which was, score a lot quickly and early. This could be another week, like you said, where they just play so fast to start the game. They really want to punch you in the mouth, And if you get toppled,
Yeah.
you know, it could be another 30-point
Yeah,
half.
it could get bad quickly for
Yeah.
the Vikings.
Yeah. So Seahawks win, Seahawks cover. Let's move on. The Bills are going into Pittsburgh to face your Steelers, Paul.
You know, I'm normally pretty positive about Steelers, as you know, but I'm a little bit, I don't know, I'm a little bit fatigued with maybe it's just finally kind of caught up with me after years of being in this, it seems like endless time loop of 9-8, 10-7. Because
Mm.
you can, Mason Rudolph is pretty painful to watch for an extended period of time. I don't want Mason Rudolph as my quarterback for an extended period of time. I've seen it before, but there's a bigger question with the Steelers. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we actually doing? Because it's not that much better with Aaron Rodgers. Paid this money to DK, and he's not having an impact on most of the games. Yeah, he had that crazy game in Dublin, but
Which wasn't that crazy. It was like
a couple of
one
days, yeah.
ridiculous play,
Yeah.
another chunky play, but you're right. They're not getting him involved. Like,
Yeah, this is, but then based on what I just said, if we follow that pattern, which with Steelers kind of games would make sense, is that they'll turn up and they'll beat the Bills, and the defense will just cause absolute chaos.
Mm.
But then what's going to happen is that we're still in the same thing. We're still in the same thing. So there has to be. Sorry, I'm being like a bit more philosophical about this game because I'm just looking at what are we doing overall.
Mm.
You played a team last week, the Bears, where yeah they were bad, but they got a young quarterback, they got a head coach, and there seemed to be a plan, a future. With the Steelers, like you can't keep going year to year with these. Wilson. The one time you did take a shot, and yeah, it backfired tremendously, was the Kenny Pickett thing.
Mm.
But at
Yeah.
least you went for a quarterback in the first round. At least you drafted a quarterback. It didn't work out. But then you surrounded him with a terrible offensive coordinator. And the offensive coordinator now, Arthur Smith, while I like some of the things that he does, overall,
It's
it's not,
dated.
it's dated. And yeah, last week was just a bit of a eye opener for me. I'm like watching them against the Bears. I'm like, the Bears, the Chicago Bears are ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm.
And how quickly it can turn around, head coach, quarterback. And then I'm just looking at my team like, what are we doing? What are
Yeah.
we actually doing? We beat the Bills this week. Okay, so what? But you're still probably in the same area. So, and with this game, so to come back to the actual matchup of this game, Steelers win when the defense turns the ball over. The defense did turn the ball over a little bit against the Bears, but it wasn't enough because the offense sucked overall. And they're coming in against a Bills team that had a terrible time against the Texans defense.
Mm-hmm.
And both teams really need it now. Like, really, this is a huge game.
The
If as
Bills
I say,
could miss the playoffs, legitimately.
literally, right, we fully expect the Ravens to handle the Bengals on Thanksgiving. So the Ravens then have a game lead over the Steelers. And the Bills are now what, 2.5 games behind the Patriots? So
Yeah. I don't think they're catching them.
forget the division. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They're only, what,
seven and
7-5?
four.
They're
They're seven
seven
and
and
four.
four.
They started 4-0.
I think it's the cutoff right now is 6-5. So they're one game ahead of wild card? Because you
Yeah,
got Texans, Chiefs, maybe
the wild cards are Jags, Chargers, Bills at the minute,
with Texans, Chiefs lurking,
and the Steelers, the same record.
and the Steelers. Wow, this is a massive game for the head-to-head.
Yeah, I just this would be so Mike Tomlin, so Pittsburgh to win this game, and it makes no sense based on the matchup because
Is
it doesn't.
Rodgers playing?
I don't know, and I don't think it makes that much. I hate to say this. I don't think it makes that much of a difference because it does make a difference, but not a significant difference because the offense, just the scheme and the play calling is just so
Right, exactly. Like if you
so bad.
actually were aggressive, it would make a difference in that Rodgers can make plays downfield. If you make him do it, he doesn't really want to. That's the problem as well.
I think he will play because there was a chance that he was going to play last week against the Bears, so I would expect him to play. But
Okay.
this is an offense that doesn't seem to go for like chunk plays. It seems to go to let's just get in third and manageable instead of like let's just do something revolutionary and try to go for a they try to go for like big plays, but the execution isn't there.
Yeah.
And it's not it's not
Yeah. Few
scheme.
and far between. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a bit sorry. I'm a bit negative about this game, but then that was just based on this Bears game because the
Mm.
Bears just reminded me of how quickly this league can turn around. Look at the Vikings, how quickly this league can turn around. Look at the Bears, how quickly it can turn around if at least you've got a bit of a plan.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Steelers have a plan. They seem to be like year to year, right? The Rodgers thing, okay, look, even if it did work, he's 41. What are you doing next year? What are you doing the year after that?
Hmm.
Like you're just in this constant like time loop of never ending, never ending like what the hell wins. And then but it was a painful game to watch as a Steelers fan last week. They'll win if they turn the ball over like the Bills did last week against the Texans. And they might do that. It's at home, in front of the nation.
This is the pick of the games because Vikings Seahawks won't be a game, in my opinion. Raiders Chargers, okay, you might get the bump from Chip Kelly leaving, but no, I still say that won't be a good contest either. So this is, like you said, this is the 425 window game of the window. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills. Steelers' pass defense is actually terrible, and it's covered up by the turnovers and the pass rush. They could cause some problems to the Bills, but not as much as the Texans did last week.
Mm.
So, and the Texans' defense is greater than the Steelers' defense, and even that game was not not decisive,
Mm.
despite all those sacks and pressures. So sorry, I'm just a bit down on Steelers at the minute, but I say Bills go in there and win, and then you really got some kind of soul searching.
Mm. It's in Pittsburgh.
It
There,
is a Mike Tomlin moment. It is. Historically, it is like a how the hell did they do that?
mm,
But eventually, eventually, you kind of luck runs out. And then are you actually winning? If you're winning these games, but then you don't win the big game, are you
yeah,
even winning, or are you just winning moments?
yeah, you're stuck, as you said, in 9 and 8 purgatory
Yeah.
because you're getting to the playoffs and then losing in the first round every time. It's I hate to say it, and I know that he was a problem, but just I cannot believe that Pickens left. Like,
Yeah.
and I get it because I'm guessing this was his contract year. Okay. But the prospect, when you got DK Metcalf, the first thing I thought was, oh my God, DK Metcalf on one side, Pickens on the other. And the fact that Pickens goes and you don't get a second receiver just hurts the whole thing because DK is the focal point. It's too DK centric in the passing game where they say, take him out. We are not getting beaten by DK Metcalf. Let Calvin Austin beat us. Let Roman Wilson beat us.
Yeah.
Let Mount Washington beat us.
Get Mount Washington involved more. Like, get him in the open field. Seriously.
Yeah,
What?
just get Mount Washington carrying the ball.
He's
Like,
a game wrecker. He
he's
could
a
be
gamer.
a game wrecker. Like, yeah, and he could turn into a big play. I don't know.
Well, like I look at the Bills, and I know that you're saying that your pass defense isn't great. I don't know who can really take advantage of that in this game. What, Shakir over the middle? Maybe. Shakir, to be fair, Shakir had some big plays on the outside, but that's because the Texans are a bit like they are quite aggressive. It is a bit like if you break us, we will give up a 40-yard play, but overall, we're just going to keep sacking you. I think there's a route to victory for the Steelers because as I as I look at every game for the Bills, I look at who the running back is, and the Steelers running back or running backs are Jalen Warren and our friend Gainwell. If the Steelers can run the ball, if Rodgers, I think Rodgers needs to play because if they can just make the Bills fear the passing game enough, Jalen Warren could eat on this run defense. This is the type of back that the Bills have struggled against, like these jittery, fast, you know, energy running backs. And I'm not impressed with the Bills at all. And just as a side note, Honey Badger this week, he needs to stop talking. Like he had a respectable career. When he says things like the Bills are a good team and Josh Allen is erratic, just no, just go back and watch some film maybe. I get it. Allen made some mistakes against the Texans, but if you think he's the problem in Buffalo, I can't help you. I'm taking the Steelers. I don't like the Bills receivers. I think it's a case of can the Steelers limit James Cook, really? And of course, can they rush Josh Allen? Because that's the way you have to stop this team. You have to get the pass rush. Because if Allen's got time, he will probably just take off himself if there's nothing open. But it's in Pittsburgh. I have zero faith in Buffalo's run defense, and I'm purely basing it on can the Steelers run the ball this week? And I say they can with Warren, who, like I said, is a back that they don't want to see this type of back. We saw what Achan did to them.
Yeah.
Warren is not Achan, but he's an explosive back still. So I will take the upset. I'll take the Steelers to win. And unfortunately, like you said, it's following that path of purgatory of 9-8.
Yeah, they're on
Next,
pace. They're on pace for it. They're on good pace for it. 6-5, but the schedule is now brutal. I had them
yeah,
preseason 8-9, and but the schedule they've got a home game against the Dolphins, but apart from that, it's Ravens twice, at Lions.
oh,
Uh, yeah, you've got the Browns again, and They play the Browns hard. The Browns play the Steelers hard. Yeah,
Is that
it's
in Cleveland?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We played them in Pittsburgh.
6-5. Yeah, it feels like 8-9, 9-8.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, we don't know with the Ravens games. You just never know with those games. I don't expect you to get swept. Like
No.
it's just the way it goes with these games. And you've had Lamar's number, so at times. Okay, Raiders at Chargers. Chargers favored by 9.5. Chip Kelly is gone. Amarian Hampton is back.
Enough said.
Enough said. Enough said. I think it's one of those games, isn't it? It is ram it down your throat, Raiders. And the defense will try to suffocate Geno Smith. When you lose a coordinator, and I don't think this coordinator would have been well liked, when he's like sort of telling Genty, you can't, change your posture. And okay, I've been doing this for the last however many years, and now you want me to change the way that I approach my runs. They might get a bump. That's the only thing. But either way, this Raiders team's terrible. And Geno Smith, he needs to be in a team where he's got lots of weapons, and that's okay. That's who he is. He's not Josh Allen. Oh well. If you put him in a good team, he probably will produce, some good games. Not in this team. So Chargers win. Could the Raiders cover? They could, because the Chargers play a certain brand of football where sometimes the game is low scoring. But I'm not going to say that. Chargers win. Chargers cover. Welcome back, Amari and Hampton.
Yeah, this is the Chargers coming off a bye at home
Ooh.
against the Raiders. I watched, as I said to you, I watched the Raiders Browns because I like games where there's a little bit of chaos involved, and there was a lot of chaos involved in that game. Most of it inflicted by Myles Garrett, but yeah, this offensive line is a complete mess.
Mm.
And yeah, the Chargers have injuries everywhere, but this is the Raiders, and as I said last week, I'll bet against the Raiders until proved otherwise because they're they're really painful to watch actually, like because they can't even set up any plays just based on the offensive line. He can't even set up to throw. There was only one play where you thought, yeah, Genty made like quite a nice play, making a couple of guys miss after catching the ball. But it's really hard for them to just get basic plays executed just because the offensive line play is so terrible. So until I see anything different, I will bet against the Raiders. And for that reason, I take the Chargers to win and the Chargers to cover.
Yep. Okay, so we move on to Sunday Night Football. Broncos at Commanders. According to Brandon Ayuk and his leaks, Jaden Daniels is back this week.
Okay.
Inadvertently leaking that.
Well, he would know.
He was on a FaceTime with Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels said, "Yeah, I'm back this week." So, okay, let's see if that holds true. I don't know how much difference it makes though, because the Commanders, they're done really, and Daniels has had three different injuries this year. So, what rhythm can you go into facing the Broncos defense? The Broncos are a weird one. Their record is very good, and they've been clutch in fourth quarters. Against the Chiefs, it was we need to stop you, and then we have to make the plays to kick a field goal, and that happened. So that's big. They've done that against the Chiefs, and then they've come back against the Eagles in similar fashion. We're down. We're going to score a touchdown. We're going to go for two because analytics, and now we just need a field goal to win the game.
Well, it's fourth quarter. Bo Nix. He's
Fourth
elite in
quarter,
the fourth
Bo
quarter.
Nix.
Just fast forward to the fourth quarter and watch the Broncos games.
Denver win this game. Like I think wrap it up for this year. Don't that Jaden Daniels has had a knee injury, dislocated elbow, something else. Just wrap it up for the year. Like move on to next year. I don't know about Scary Terry. Is he back? I don't know. He's really not got going this year because once again you lingered with the contract. So we've seen that story before. They're too slow. The Broncos defense will feast and the offense will do enough. So I think this will probably be quite low scoring, but Broncos win, and I say Broncos cover the 5.5.
Yeah, I agree. I would take the Broncos to win and cover. I really hate the Commanders' defense, and 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 just for that reason, I think that Denver's going to restrict Washington offensively, and then that just do enough. They just do enough. Denver's just too well coached at this point. When they outcoach Kansas City, they're really onto something in Denver,
Mm.
and they could take it far in the playoffs based on the way that they keep winning these games. And there's something to be said. I mean, we saw it with the Chiefs in the past, like just being clutch in the fourth quarter. They seem to be riding this wave of just not luck because it's not luck. You have to be in the position for the luck to take effect.
And it's not every game. They have won comprehensively in a few games as well. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I like the Broncos. I really like the Broncos, and they're doing this without Satan as well. So when he comes back, that's an extra
mm,
little thing, extra little elite player on defense to add to this unit. They're a really good defense, and they get after the quarterback so quickly. And for that reason, they're going to be coming from everywhere for Jaden Daniels. And I don't think, even with his VR and his
mm-mm.
slowing down the pace, I don't think it's going to be enough because Denver plays so fast that, yeah, Broncos win, Broncos cover.
They legitimately are fighting for the number one seed because
Yeah,
the Colts have got some tough tests ahead.
yeah,
They've got to play the Texans twice. So
yeah. And good luck if the Broncos get number one seed going to
yeah,
going to Denver in January. That weather, mile high, like they get the number one seed. Like you fancy them to beat anybody, and then suddenly the AFC title games in Denver in those conditions.
mm. So from one AFC contender for the number one seed to another on Monday Night Football. It's Giants at Patriots. Jameis Winston.
He's just insane.
My
Jameis
guy
Winston, he
had a
throws it, he catches it, he's a cheerleader.
the
He's
dude caught
everything.
it. He caught it, tried to duke out the defender, and then semi stiff armed him to fight him off to score the touchdown.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
And he absolutely torched the Lions. I mean, like you said earlier, just like every play was like 30-yard bomb. But this is the Patriots.
Well, one Dale Robinson is now elite. He
Winston
went off.
Jameis has made him elite.
Yeah, Jameis does that to guys though. They have career days with Jameis.
So, what are your thoughts on this? Patriots, yeah, they messed around a little bit last week, but they won the game.
The Giants are just predictable in this point where we know what the outcome's going to be. it's just the circumstances of the game and the opponent changes. But the Giants will lose in the fourth quarter. I messaged you in game when they were up. They were up
Yeah.
two scores on the Lions, I believe it was, and I wasn't even getting 2-1 a bet in running on the Lions because it's almost like the bookmakers knew as well. The
Yeah.
Lions were down two scores
Wow.
deep into the fourth quarter, and I couldn't get 2-1 in running on the Lions money line. And I was going to hit the trigger on the Lions because I've seen this with the Giants before. And then, yeah, you look up, I've got the quad box going on, so I'm not fully watching that game. And then suddenly the Lions are down in the Giants red zone again in a matter of seconds. And you just know that this defense is, and they had some success actually, past like rushing Jared Goff last week.
They can't stop the run.
They can't stop the run. They can't tackle in the open field. I know Jameer Gibbs is a tough matchup for anybody, but this has been a theme throughout the whole season to this point. And you are who you are at this point. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
they've been involved in pretty close games, but the Giants are like that. The flip side of the Bears. So the Bears win one score games and the Giants lose one score games. And the Bears, I think the Bears have been trailing in quite a few games, and the Lions have always been in front in the fourth quarter. So
Mm.
they're just the flip side, and it just shows how much of a swing there is in the NFL if you win those extended moments in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Bears are 8-3, and the Giants, they're 2-9. The Giants, is that right? 2-9,
Wow.
2-10.
They're the first team to be eliminated.
They're 2-10, and their points differential is 70, minus 70.
It's not that bad. It tells you that they're losing these, 10 losses. Okay, net 8 losses, 70 points. Yeah, it's like kind of one scorish.
Um, and the Patriots just, I don't know. I don't know how good the Patriots are. I don't know how good they are for the destination. I know
Yeah.
they're good to win regular season games, but
Mm.
okay. And it is a fact that their schedule has been favorable, shall we say. So we're going to find out. And again, their schedule's favorable this week. They get the
Yeah.
Giants. So the Patriots will win. Who's playing quarterback? Is it Jameis again, or is Jackson Dart back?
That's a good question. It's a shame for the Giants that they've had all these injuries because it would have been more interesting to have seen Scatterboo, Neighbours. Yeah, I know they
Yeah,
probably still have a losing record, but those are massive pieces on their offense.
huge.
So, like Neighbours and Scatterboo, it's it's at least it's interesting. You had a couple of well, now you got Wandale Robinson, who, as you said, is Jameis Winston elite now. Uh, a couple of extra pieces. Who knows? Like Jackson Dart can play a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what year two looks like. But
They're not going to
yeah,
have the success against the Patriots corners that they had last week against the Lions.
no, no,
That's just in New England as well. No chance.
nope.
So I'm going to take the Patriots to win and cover. I just think seeing their defense is not going to let the Giants hang around as much
Mm.
as the Lions did. So, and they'll probably turn the Giants over a couple of times. So, yeah, Patriots win and cover. And we still don't know anything big picture about the Patriots. Yeah, you've got that win against the Bills on schedule, but they've got the Ravens upcoming. At
Wow.
upcoming. Um, so they might have a couple of like really credible wins on their schedule, on their record, but not this week. They win and cover.
Yeah, they win and cover. Like at some point, Jameis will just have one of those letdown games. So it could be this week.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the full slate. We move on to week 13. Who's going off draft?
Okay. I am going to say I'm not going to go with just Rico Dowdle again. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go with Josh Allen against the Steelers. And the pressure's on him, Josh Allen. And we know that I think he's going to have success against this Steelers pass defense. I really do. And he can take off with his legs. And the pressure's really on. He has to step up. And I think he will. I think Josh Allen's going to have a day.
Okay. I'm going to play matchup. Give me Lad McConkey against the Raiders defense. Not much really to say. Like the defense isn't very good, the offense isn't very good. So I think the Chargers are going to control time of possession. And I think this is one of those games where Herbert hits his favorite target.
I'm going to go with Diggs against the Giants.
Ooh.
Prime time, Giants defense. Yeah, I just think the Giants defense is there waiting to be exposed.
Okay. It's a tricky week.
Go with Sam Darnold against the Vikings to remind them. So that was my thought.
Brutal. Well, I will. You've come up with it. Hmm.
You go Miles Garrett again.
That's what I was thinking.
He's not allowed anymore.
I think I'm going to play matchup again, and we'll stay in New England. I say Travion Henderson. Now the Giants, they can't stop the run, as proven again last week. Travion Henderson isn't Jahmyr Gibbs, but I say he has a big game in this one.
Okay, so should I say the Darnold one?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, this is a bad week to be a Vikings fan. They're going to be reminded they're going into the house of the quarterback that they turned the page from last year, how the NFL can turn in one less than one calendar year. Sam Darnold to have a big game against the Vikings.
Give me Devon Achan against the Saints. Like, this just feels like a game where the Dolphins are off their bye. The Saints aren't good. They're bad. And they're going to feed Achan a lot. And I say Achan probably breaks a 40-yarder in this game.
That's a great shout, actually. Because, yeah, when I've seen Dolphins games, he runs it. He seems, because you don't think he's like a workhorse back. You don't, because he's not
Oh,
huge, but he's getting like 20 carries.
yeah. And they throw it to him a lot
Yeah.
as well. Like sideways throws now run after the catch. So week 13, touchdown to glory. This could be a good week for it. This is a lot of weird games.
Okay. So taking out the Thanksgiving games, I am going
Yep.
to say,
This is like you got to pick 6 o'clock window or 9 o'clock window.
yeah. Okay. I am going to go with, I'm going to go with the Seahawks and AJ Barner.
Mm.
I just your favored guys, Jackson Smith and Kenneth Walker, like even money. So give
Yeah.
me AJ Barner to have. I think Sam Darnold's going to go off this week. I think he's going to be motivated. He's at home, 12th man. Vikings falling apart. I want a piece of the Seahawks offense. I'm not going to get rich. Like I'm not betting on Jackson Smith or Kenneth Walker at the prices. So AJ Barner, 2-1.
I like it because they've got two tight ends, and I think Barner gets favoured a little bit more than the other ones. So that's a good shout. And Darnold, he's not going to want to just like throw it to Smith and Jigba and have that be the answer. I think he'll spread it around this week and show them that he can win with all of his guys. Hmm. Thinking of price, who did I have in mind? See, I want to go Niners, but I feel like that's a bit risky. I could see that being a low scoring game. So
You can go with your guy, Lad McConkey. He's 2-1.
Lad McConkey is 2-1.
Anytime.
I will. I think that's a no brainer. Then I've got to go Lad McConkey at 2-1 against the Raiders defense. Like that's who. I know that we had this little fun period of time with Quinton Johnston, but I think that's past now. The only other guy that's interesting is the young tight end that Herbert seems to throw to a lot near the red area. But give me if you're giving me Lad McConkey at 2-1, we got to take it. This feels like a tricky week.
Yeah, a little bit. There are a few that I really like. I really think the Seahawks, I know it's a lot, but I really think the Seahawks are going to absolutely kill the Vikings.
Yeah,
Especially like what the Packers did to them last week. Packers just suffocated them, and now you're gonna downgrade your quarterback play from JJ McCarthy to a rookie at
mm.
Seattle? No, no, not for me. Not for me. So best bets.
Well, we've only picked one each.
Oh, touchdown. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, I will repeat last week. I will go with Samuel. I know it's the Broncos
Ooh.
defense, but I've got him down at 11-5.
And Jaden Daniels, according to Brandon Ayuk, is back, so that helps things. Like he's targeted Debo a lot in the red zone, so
Yeah.
you're getting
Debo's
two
going to
to
be
one.
involved. Debo's involved with both quarterbacks, Mariota
Yeah, he
and
came
Jay.
through. He came through for you last time.
Yeah.
You will have to veto this one for me if you think there is a problem with it. But give me Kenneth Gainwell at 5-2 against the Bills.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit of a risk because obviously Jalen Warren is the number one back, but Gainwell gets his touches as well. So
Gainwell's involved in the passing game as well. And Jalen Warren is not he's not a traditional number one back.
no,
This is they truly split carries.
that gives me encouragement. So on that fourfold, you are getting 110-1. So touchdown to glory.
Cool.
Right. Best bets.
I've spoken about it. Don't overthink it. Seattle against the rookie quarterback or JJ McCarthy. I don't care. Seattle 12th man, Sam Darnold, motivated. Seattle minus 11.5. It was 9 earlier in the week. It's now 11.5. I still don't think it's enough.
No. Give me the Dolphins minus 5.5. I know that it's a bit funny because the Saints, they had that random show at the Panthers, but that was divisional, and that was the Panthers. I actually think the Dolphins are sort of back on board a bit. I'm not saying they're going to do anything, but they will. I think they'll win this game comfortably.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to go with the Giants Patriots over 46.5. The Giants are just involved in a few crazy games, and the fact that it's the Giants defense, like I can almost guarantee they're gonna concede 30 plus. So then can they put up the remaining 17 to make this bet a winner? I say they can just about. I think the Patriots will win and cover, but I see this being kind of a 33-20 kind of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of scores. So 46.5 to me seems fair based on everything I've seen recently from the Giants defense.
This is a big spread, and it's putting me off because it's a 10 a.m. body clock game. But give me the Rams minus 10.5 at the Panthers. The Panthers are really bad. They're really bad. Like 49ers were trying, or Brock Purdy was trying to make it a game for you, and you're still down at half time, even though you'd had 3 picks. You're not getting 3 picks on Stafford. I think that the Rams will dispatch them. Yeah, 10.5.
It seems like a minute ago that the Panthers were undefeated at home and elite at home. They're now 3-2 at home. So they've lost back to back at home.
Wow.
But yeah, they're 6-6 with a big negative points differential and a very streaky quarterback.
Mm.
Yeah, against the Rams, the Rams pass rush, like Verse and Fisk. No, I don't want any piece of Bryce Young this week.
And you can't really run on the Rams. They're pretty good at stopping the run. So you can't even lean on your guy Dowdle or Hubbard.
I
I think.
love Rico Dowdle, but yeah, this is tough.
Okay, so to finish off as always, we have the Week 13 Will Spin Bet Builder. Yellow. Okay. It is Saints at the Dolphins. We
Okay.
have our work cut out here, I think.
Okay, no worries. We're professionals. We'll come up with anything.
Uh, just to say, we came very close last week. Like, we hit every leg apart from the X factor, which was the Lions' defensive touchdown. But Jameis, on one of his last throws, he literally threw it behind the Lions' defender, and he couldn't wrap his arm around. If he caught that, the momentum was taking him towards the end zone. So we were close.
Yeah, I mean, we took a shot.
We took a shot.
Took a shot
Yeah.
with the Lions defense. But that was a lot of fun to have.
Yeah, yeah, that was fun to watch. So automatically, I'm taking Devon Achan total scrimmage yards, 114.5. It is a lot, but he will get volume.
We could do it again. We could go with the Dolphins defense. We could.
If you like it,
I just don't like the Saints offense and I don't like Tyler Shough.
no.
And the Falcons defense scored a special teams. They scored I can't remember if it was a pick or a fumble return for a touchdown, but I know the Falcons defense scored a touchdown on the Saints last week.
Yeah, it was a fumble return for a touchdown. Are they
Okay.
listed here? Hmm.
Let's find four other things and then see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, see, because that's
One thing I would say is Tyler Shuck. throws it to Olave a lot.
Yeah.
But Olave's number is 70. So it all depends on, are we going to get effort Dolphins defense or can't cover Dolphins defense?
Yeah, but we'll get volume with Olave.
So we'll take Olave. Chris Olave over 70 and a half receiving yards.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I had in mind was Dolphins are at home, and this is kind of Tua's comfort zone playing against a bad team. So I say 2 passing touchdowns for
Okay.
Tua.
Yeah. I say, have you got in there to our longest completion?
That is usually here. No, it's not. It's the longest reception for a receiver. I don't have that. Where
Okay,
else
yeah,
can
that's
you?
too risky.
Because that's a good shout because of Waddle.
Yeah. So what about Waddle, longest catch? You give us around the 20-25 mark. What do they say it is?
This because it's Wednesday. I think this is a bit limited on
Okay.
Sky Bet. Unless you've got it somewhere else.
I've got why isn't this
Is it like
page loading?
365?
On Bet365, but my page ain't loading with player props. Well, I
Hmm.
can't like maximize the menu.
Let me
I'm trying to
see.
get longest rush, Achan.
Right, so I'm on 365. Uh Builder. Is it under Builder?
Oh, do you
So
have to go into Bet Builder?
I'm in Builder, rushing and receiving for Achan. Oh, okay. They want me to log in. Anyway, I can see the price. So 120. Longest reception. Longest reception for Waddle is 24 and a half. No brainer, feels
Yeah,
like.
do that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
So we've got four at the moment.
Yeah.
So the first one is Achan over 120 and a half at 20 to 23.
Yeah.
Let's see, receiving. So Olave at 68 and a half at 10 to 11.
Yeah.
We now have Waddle, longest reception over 24 and a half at 20 to 23.
Mhm.
And then lastly, yeah, two are over two touchdowns or over at 20 to 23.
Okay, that pays a pound pays £12.48, so it's 11.5 to 1.
Do we stop there? Or do we want to say, I don't know, Dolphins Dolphins to win just to bump it up at 10 to 27?
No, I just say we get a win on the board.
All right, we,
Just
we
get a
will
win on the board.
just in case the Dolphins do some early in the season Dolphins stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it doesn't increase the return huge.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's at 1 to 3 on a. It's not going to be huge. So yeah, so read that back. That's 11.5 to 1.
Okay. So that is Devon Achan total scrimmage over 120 and a half. Jalen Waddle longest reception over 24 and a half receiving yards. Tua to have 2 or more passing touchdowns, and Chris Olave over 68 and a half receiving yards. 11 to 1.
Cool. I love that.